Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of From a Woman to a Leader. And this is take two with Naama. And before we start, I want to thank Google for Startups for hosting us here at their incredible studio at Tel Aviv. So thank you, Google. And hi again, Naama.
Hello again.
Yeah, and for those who don't know Naama, she is the founder and CEO of Naked Pak, a company that revolutionized food packaging.
That's for sure.
And eliminate waste, which is incredible.
Thank you. So we are Naked Pak, and we're the first brand in the world to offer microplastic-free meals. And the way we do that is that we wrap our meals with our edible packaging that is also hot water soluble. So you can just drop the food with the packaging in a pot or in the microwave, and the packaging just dissolves.
Yeah, which I think is how come no one did it before?
I know, right?
It's crazy.
We're very lucky that no one has done it before.
Let's start with the story you mentioned to me. Saw this, I don't know, dynamics between two men. Can you share a little bit about it?
Sure. So I was just telling Limor this situation that I saw yesterday, and really made me thinking about women and men in this specific industry. So I saw a male investor. He was around 50 years old, and a young founder around my age sitting together. And they really had this moment of like, they were hugging each other and making fun and really touching each other in a way that really connects them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were speaking about business or just sharing life experiences, but they had this bond that I don't want to say it, but maybe only men can have with each other. And it made me think about when I joined the Israeli military. I was in the pilot course for a year. I obviously did not finish it, but we were there, 3 women. One of them finished the course, and then 97 men. And there was this moment when we got into the room with the guys, and the atmosphere changed immediately. And one of them, who's apparently the cousin of my husband, we discovered it later, told me that the moment we step in, something changes. They cannot go naked anymore. They cannot fart. They cannot curse. They really need to behave and to watch how they act. And they don't feel as free as they felt before we came in. And I really thought about it, because we also have this, right? As women, we speak freely about things that sometimes are, we don't feel as comfortable to speak about them with men, which is great that we have this as a gender that we can speak about more personal or private things together that only we understand. And then when I saw these two men sitting together yesterday, I thought about it again, about these opportunities that you have with the same gender, with person that you feel very close to, although you just met. And since there aren't that many women in the industry, in Israel and globally, actually.
You mean entrepreneurs, founders, co-founders,
investors also, and those who support startups from other organizations, banks, usually they're men. And it kind of makes sense because how society is built.
It doesn't make sense, but I mean, it is weird.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But it's statistics. It's not something that is special to this region or to a very specific, I don't know, social structure. It's just how things are today, and this is why we want to change them. This is why we sit here together and speak about women, encouraging them to lead. And I really wish I had more opportunities like that with female investors, with female supporters, with female founders, to have our own moments that men cannot have. This is probably our unfair advantage, the fair that we can communicate in a way other people cannot. And what we try to do in many ways is to create these communities of female founders, of female in tech, female investors in VCs. And I wish it was just more powerful, because I wish I had this moment these two guys had yesterday so many times. And I just want to see it more. And I hope I do whatever I can to create these moments. But I feel like those who the women who support me, we have a very special connection.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they do it not only because they believe in the mission, but also because me creating success or experiencing success, I'll pay it forward somehow. And I guess this is the reason why they support me, besides the great mission of Naked Pak that can reduce plastic all over the world. But because a female founder is something that can inspire many, many other women around the world to take this step towards their dream,
Yeah.
their company, their business.
That's interesting. So I'm sure that there are communities, right? Both local and global for women founders. So why do you think that kind of bond that you kind of describe between those two men doesn't exist in the female communities?
Um, I actually don't know, but I guess it's just about the numbers. The more female founders and investors and figures in the tech I meet, the more comfortable I feel like I can approach them in another way. The more comfortable I can ask them about how is it like to have a family and how is it like to grow a business when you have other responsibilities in life, which I'm very curious at my um, I don't know, time in life when I'm
Yeah.
thinking about family and how can I do it with building a business, building a startup. So I guess it's a matter of time and statistics, and the more initiatives that push towards women supporting each other, um, I guess just not enough because there aren't enough.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is that there aren't enough because the connection happens between two people. It doesn't happen with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be like two people that really connect to each other. And
That's for sure. Yeah, you're right.
so we need more. Listen, we need more more founders out there.
Definitely, definitely.
You know it's not going to be an easy path, right, to start something. What was the thing that drove you to do that despite all the reasons why not to do it?
So I when I have hard moments, my husband reminds me that I didn't want to do anything else. So it wasn't that I wanted to do Naked Pak. It wasn't that I had no doubt about doing Naked Pak. It's just that I had so many doubts about everything else.
Yeah.
I think that the path of going to a big corporate or a big company where you can learn a lot about the industry and about the structure and even about the just gain experience in different roles, different jobs, working with different people, and then also working in a startup as an employee. Maybe the founding team, maybe C-level, but as an employee is a great way to gain experience before you start your own startup. Because when you do it, like when you're fresh from university, you need to learn everything from scratch. And this is something that fits some people. But I kept thinking that if I was working at a startup, I would start my own startup when I already know so much, like the vocabulary of investments and funding round. I learned it all from scratch, but this is how I like to learn stuff.
Okay.
So this is maybe one of the main reasons why I wanted to start Naked Pak and not do anything else. For me, the experience of knowing nothing and then learning step by step everything, this is where I feel alive. This is where I feel I thrive. This is where I feel that every day is different. Yesterday, I didn't know that. And today, I'm not an expert, but I know some. And this learning experience that is very, where every day is different from yesterday. And I know that tomorrow I'll know way more in a specific field is very exciting for me. I know it's not for everyone. I know that for some people it is better
Yeah.
to get experience somewhere and then do your own thing. But for my personality, I prefer to know nothing. I prefer that the day will be very exciting. I know how it starts. I never know how it ends. And for me, I do it in other aspects in life as well.
Like what, for example?
I uh, I like to get in places where I know no one. and start speaking with people. I like getting to new places on Earth and not planning anything ahead. So we were in India last year. We bought the tickets a few days in advance, and then we got there, and then we started learning about the place. It was very authentic because we had no like previous opinions about the place. We just learned it from people and asked people. When I go to these events of founders where I know absolutely no one, then I get curious about people because I need to judge who seems nice. And something really interesting happened to me. I was at an event of Banca Poalim. They did an amazing event for founders, an opportunity to meet with investors and speak with them, like office hours. And in the beginning, we just had coffee, and I knew absolutely no one. So I went to someone and told him that I'm the CEO and co-founder of Naked Pak, and I showed him the product and told him about it. And he was like, "Wow, that's really nice. Thank you for sharing it with me. Good luck." I never know. I mean, people always come with crazy ideas. And then 10 minutes earlier, the event started, and someone called the CEO of Banca Poalim to get on stage and congratulate the startups. And it was him.
Oh.
And then he said, "I just met the founder. She's doing edible packaging. What a crazy idea."
Wow.
So I even got like my
So you got a pitch by the CEO of the bank.
Exactly. And I must say that if I knew that was the CEO of the bank, I would never
approach. Yeah.
That was too scary. But I came fresh, and this is an attitude that I really love. Sometimes I mess up because I reach out. I mean, I approach the wrong people in the wrong attitude, but usually.
What would be a wrong person at the wrong attitude?
Well, I was at this demo day of a fantastic accelerator I took part in, and there were these investors networking at the beginning, but some of them went to the room and already sat on their chairs and waited for the demo day to start. So I actually went to them and I told them where you're not moving, so it's easier to speak with you, since they were just sitting and scrolling on their phones. They didn't laugh.
They didn't like it, I guess.
No, they didn't like the fact that they were sitting scrolling on their phones, and I approached to them because they wanted no one to speak with them. This is why they went to the other room. And that was very rude from me. So obviously they didn't care about me or my product. But I mean,
okay, you learned something from it.
For sure that if someone seems not interested, I'll go to those who seem interested.
Yeah, I mean, that's very interesting what you mentioned. Like, you like the adventure, like not knowing anything, just experimenting. And this thing, about going to a room of people that you don't know anyone, for me, this is so scary. I do that, but it's like there are million thoughts in my head. Like, am I going to make a fool of myself? How am I going to approach someone I don't know? What they're going to think about it? What goes in your head when you go to a room of people when you don't know anyone?
The same thoughts you have. Exactly the same thoughts. Usually a glass of wine might help.
Yeah.
But I had a really great experience that is not related to business. But when I was single, I went to an event of my friend. She did it at her parents' yard, like karaoke and beer. And I knew absolutely no one. And then I saw a really good-looking guy, and he reminded me of he was like, he looked very much like a person I knew from the military. So I just approached him and I asked him, "Are you Amir's brother?" And he said, "Yes." And today he's my husband.
Wow, that's incredible.
And I was there all by myself. I knew absolutely no one. I was sitting on the side and drinking some beer, and I was thinking, well, this guy looks nice. I mean, I should speak with him. I know no one here. And now when I already, I founded Naked Pak almost 2 years ago, so I already know people. It's very rare that I get in a room and I know no one.
Especially here in the small swamp we're at.
Exactly. I mean, you gotta know people, even from other occasions, but at least someone. But this muscle of going to someone you don't know and saying who you are and what you're working on, and knowing that 90% that he's not interested or not investing or not relevant to what you do, but you might have still a nice conversation, and 10% that he's very relevant and he might be your, I don't know, business husband.
He might be your husband, yeah.
Exactly. So I know that it's really scary. The more you do it, the less scary it gets. It is still scary.
Yeah.
But when you build something completely new, uh, you don't know anyone in the room because it's new. I can't find the words to explain it, but when you do something that does not exist, when you build a company that hasn't been there before, you have to like approach people, because if you don't, they will never know you exist.
Yeah.
And it's not only physically, it's also digitally. And it is as scary. Posting things on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter, X. It's as scary as approaching people.
You know, I disagree.
Really?
For me, it's posting things easy. Like, I don't have any problem with posting. Approaching people, maybe less so, but still, it's digital. I don't see their faces. Approaching, okay. But in person, completely different experience for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Because for me, it's as scary. I think I'll make the same fool like on LinkedIn and physically. But you know, I heard it a few days ago that they're all people. I mean,
of course, everyone, no matter if they are like a multi-millionaire CEO, whatever, or just
exactly, they're all people, and they're also looking for something exciting for their, I mean, I know so many people who are so proud of being the first employees or the first investors or the first supporters in many other ways of very successful startups that are, I mean, that were acquired for billions of dollars years ago. But this is something when they tell you about themselves, this is something they mention, because it is very exciting to be part of something that that is exploding or exploded years ago. We keep telling about the amazing Israeli innovations, that is Conki. I mean, in Waze and Wiz. I don't know anyone from these companies, but I'm so proud. I'm somehow, we share some background, that the background is probably serving the military and being a citizen of Israel. But imagine how exciting it could be for someone to join Naked Pak, and then when it explodes, they can say they were the first supporters. And although Naked Pak has not exploded yet, it's a matter of time, right?
It will. I'm sure it will.
I still, when I approach people, I remind myself that I offer them an opportunity to take part in something that I truly believe will explode. They might think I'm a fool, but I'm sure that all successful founders had the opportunity to experience others saying they're fools, or just looking at them as they were fools.
I think, you know, if you frame it like, okay, I'm going to approach someone, they may think I'm a fool. I don't care. I'm just going to do it, because there is a chance that they're actually going to think that I have something really cool.
Sure. And also, you build relationships, right? The first, I mean, there aren't many people that when I tell them about Naked Pak for the first time are like, wow, that's going to change the world. Usually it takes time. Then if we're connected on LinkedIn or when we see each other, they see the progress and then they get convinced. So it's okay for me if someone, when they meet me for the first time, they might think I'm a fool, but when they see I make progress, when they see people are interested in using Naked Pak, when I share that like videos of people using it already, testing it or trying it, it's way more convincing than me saying, yeah, people want it. When I show them, people actually want it. When I show them, I raise money, so people are interested in supporting it because they believe this can be a great business. So it's also okay if the first time is not that great. And also, I feel like during the lifetime of a startup, so many things are changing. So I think that the first time I pitched someone with Naked Pak is completely different than what I pitch now. It's the same technology. Always the technology has not changed a bit, but the business model has changed. The go-to-market has changed. Our approach, our market. We thought we would start in Europe. Now we're starting in the US. It's a completely different market, different motivations, different margins, different people, different employees. Everything is different. We're doing a consumer brand now. We wanted to license the packaging earlier. A lot has changed. I'm very proud of the changes, but I also had to keep people updated with all of the changes because I meet people now that I met a year and a half ago, and they think that Naked Pak is something that it's not anymore. And some people who did not believe in Naked Pak back then really believe in it now because the changes we made are from very deep learning of the field, and now I can support everything I say with a lot of data and answers. So it's okay if someone thought I was a fool. I hope they don't think that anymore. And it's okay if they do, because my job is to convince them. Not them. My job is to continue working on Naked Pak, so they'll be convinced.
Your job is to revolutionize the world.
Exactly.
And eliminate waste and eliminate plastic. That's your job.
Exactly.
I'm counting on you, Naama.
Wow. I'll do that. No worries.
So we have an opening line for hitting on a guy. Are you Amir's brother?
Definitely.
That's
always
like
works.
I'm not in the market, but like for anyone in the market, I think that's a winner.
For sure. And I think that if it worked then, it will work in other occasions.
Now, give us pitching tips. How do you pitch? Yourself, your company, whatever. What have you learned from pitching?
So I have a few versions of my pitch. Some of them emphasize myself, my background, how did I came up with the idea, why this is what I do, and also my team and why they're the best team to execute Naked Pak. And then I have another version of that is very much business oriented, and I like, how are we going to make money? Why is this the next biggest exit that you dreamed of? And then the last thing would be something that is very much about plastic sustainability, eliminating waste. I would do a very not deep, but a very nice, I would say, research, because I meet with a lot of people. I cannot do like a day-long research on it.
Yeah,
every one of them.
Yeah.
But I would do a research, not only on LinkedIn, but with AI, of course, to learn more about the person. So I have the feeling of which kind of pitch I use. And then I'll start with asking the person to speak about himself or
themselves.
Yeah, themselves. So when I meet them, rather if it's physically or on Zoom, I would say that I'm very excited to meet, that I learned about them, but I would really love to hear about them from them, like the way they describe themselves. And then they would speak about themselves from 1 minute to 5 minutes, and then I'll have enough information to know if I'm pitching them with me. Like, are they founder focused? Do they invest in startups because of the founders? Because we're so early stage, we cannot share our revenue metrics because we don't have that yet. Or are they business oriented, like these kind of investors that are very focused on the business model and how
it's going to generate money.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is fantastic. I mean, I love this kind of investors because I think they can give us a very fresh point of view on how to make revenues. I would approach them with a business pitch. And then if these are people who are like eliminating plastic at home, very terrified about microplastics in their children's food, and this is what they tell about themselves, I would most definitely tell them how we're going to eliminate plastic from the world. So I never use the same thing because the people are not the same.
I love it, Naama. I learned so much already. So I want to summarize it. First of all, you have 3 personas, right? You have 3 personas of investors, one that are more connecting to the person itself, one more business oriented, one more environment conscious, and maybe like personally like really care about those things. And then you do a little bit of research and you say, oh, I learned a little bit about you, but I would really want to hear from you more. I love that. That's because people love talking about themselves.
Right. And also, they would not mention on LinkedIn the very personal things. Like on LinkedIn, it would be something usually generated by AI. I mean, for sure, to summarize their lifetime experience into 3 sentences. But also, it's very shallow, like the experiences. You don't know what they did in this organization, what they did in this firm, and why. I learned way more from 1 minute of them speaking about themselves rather than the deep research, the not deep, the nice research about them on LinkedIn and with AI. And then it's very easy to know what kind of pitch to use for them.
Yeah, once you learn a little bit about them, oh, okay, he cares about money, or he cares about me, or he cares about sustainability.
And those
Wonderful.
who care about the founders, they trust me, I'll find the right market. So it will be a profitable business. Those who care about the business, they really don't care about plastic. They only care about how much people would pay for something that is microplastic-free. So I think it's really important to match your words to the person so you can really hook them, like get them hooked.
And they can care about probably multiple things.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I must say that I completely neglected the deck, like pitching with the presentation shared on the screen and go slide by slide. Again, because the deck is one format and different people care about different things. So I usually give 3 minutes short pitch with the highlights of everything. What's the business? What's the opportunity? Usually how much we raise, because now I pitch investors. When I pitch companies or potential clients or collaborators, I don't speak about money, I speak about the opportunity. And then I let them ask me questions. And this is actually a philosophy of a fantastic Israeli ex-founder called Sefi Shapira, who's been mentoring me with fundraising for quite some time. And I really appreciate his philosophy because it's very modern. It's very fresh, very refreshing. Investors don't want to be lectured because they care about some specific things. And it's amazing to see that some of them ask me about team and execution. Some of them ask me about supply chain in the US and about margins and how will this take place. Like they care about the operations, and some care about the roadmap, the technology, the patent. And it's very naive to think that if I create a deck of, 12 slides, everyone would find their answers. Because
so you don't have a deck at all?
I do have, and I share it after the meeting, sometimes before the meeting, but during the meeting, 30 minutes of a conversation. And I think I learn a lot about it as well, because they ask questions that sometimes I don't have the answer for. So I know that I need to find the answer.
Yeah.
And I find it way more, I get to bond with the investors because I understand what they're curious about. I can really answer their questions instead of just throwing more and more and more and more information and knowledge of myself on them.
And how did you find that working for you?
So I'm still fundraising, really hoping that by the time this episode is on, I'll finish.
I hope so. Yeah.
But I find it very helpful. Like since I started doing that, there was way more interest in Naked Pak. Meetings were shorter but more successful. So it wasn't like the 20 minutes lecture. So the meetings sometimes can be 15 minutes, but they can be 15 minutes of a positive answer or someone who wants to follow up. For me, fundraising is the biggest challenge in everything I've done so far. I haven't done many things because we're still pre-revenue, so we haven't had a chance to sell our product or to really deal with the money like with revenues. So this might be challenging as well. But so far, fundraising is a big challenge. When I meet fellow founders, this is all we speak about.
Why is that such a big challenge?
It's just that creating a great product that people are interested in buying as consumers does not mean investors want to
Invest in it.
invest as as investors. It doesn't mean the same thing. You can create a great business with great products that are sold globally, but the structure has to fit investor structure. And this is a very long conversation, and of course, I'm not the person to speak about it since I'm not an expert. But for example, for VCs, you need to have a very specific structure that grows very, very quickly, so that the VC can return the money to its investors by the 10 years window. And some business models are just slower. It doesn't mean they're not worth investing in. It just means that the classic VC structure does not fit them. And this is something you have to learn along the way. So it has to take a few months until you understand who are the right investors for you, and then you need to find them, which is not the hard part actually, because once you create your network, investors like switch deals between each other all the time. You
They
just need
refer deals to each other.
exactly
Yeah.
all the time, and this is something they do with pleasure, because they want to share opportunities with each other, because they want to get opportunities as well. So I think that the biggest challenge is to find the right type of investors to you. And when you start fundraising, you will probably, as a founder, go directly to VCs because they're very accessible. They're very nice. They have very a team that is open to meet founders. But it doesn't mean that this is the right structure, although they always want to meet you. Not always, but they're likely open to a meeting or a conversation. For example, I don't know. It, we will find out if Naked Pak at this stage is VC material. Maybe not. And if not, we are looking for another type of investors that exist. There are many, many, many type of investors.
Okay, so it seems like there's a learning path to figure out, okay, what's the right investor to your company at this stage, and really find investors that are a fit. Wow, love that.
And this is why I think that a tip, like the advice I got so many times, was that don't start raising when you need the money. Start raising a few months before, because this learning period, it has to take place. It has to happen. You have to start by speaking and learning, and only then you'll start raising. Only when you know who to approach.
Yeah.
So I would use this advice as well. Don't start fundraising when you need the money. Start a few months ahead.
Yeah, and also, one important thing you mentioned, it's like the product has to be good, but it's not what is gonna necessarily get you the money, because the business model, and how you're gonna monetize, that's the part where you need to find a match with the investor. Yes, absolutely, you have to sell something viable, but because a lot of times founders, they care so much about the product, right? And they are in love with it, and that's what they try to pitch all the time, the product. But you're saying, well, that's not actually what investors are going to look at necessarily. They're going to look at the business model and how they're going to monetize, how they're going to get the returns.
Right. And they have a very specific structure of how they want to get the returns. So it has to be a match. I just think that there is, and this is another advice that I got and I really loved it. There is so much money in the world. You need to find the right investors who support rather the founders, the business model, or the mission, like we said earlier. But of course, they exist. There's so many people in the world. You do need the right network. And you also need the right pitch, or I don't know, idea, so they'll be interested. If the idea is not good. But I'm just saying that the fact that you were rejected many times, just make sure that you were rejected by the right investors, because if you were rejected by the investors who do not fit your business model, then don't take it as a no, take it as it's not a fit.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to invest because we don't believe in you and your product.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of rejection in the fundraising process, something
I'm
that you need to
sure.
learn.
How do you how do you learn to get rejected over and over again?
Well, um, you just do, right? It's the worst answer in the world, but I've never been rejected so much. I think that being single and going on a lot of dates where I'm rejecting and being rejected helped. So I know there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but I just don't know when. But I think that you really need to find um, what motivates you to keep on going. And what helps me is that we continue to work on the product in parallel with fundraising. We never stopped R&D. We never stopped marketing. We never stopped sending Naked Pak to people, speaking about it with companies, going to events and conferences. We continue our journey even when the budget is very tight, but we don't wait for the money. And that's very helpful because then we don't feel like we're dependent on the money. There are things that we are unable to do unless we have capital. That's for
Yeah.
sure. But everything we can do, we do. And then I get so much I want to say love, but it's not love. We get so much excitement about the product. So if so many people told me that they can't wait to have Naked Pak everywhere, they want to buy it for their houses, they want to go to a trek with it. They have an expedition to Mount Everest next year, and they want everything to be with Naked Pak. That's okay if an investor rejected me because there are people who are waiting for Naked Pak to be available in the market. So I just need to speak to another investor. And I know that I was speaking with a founder yesterday, and he told me in the past month, I wanted to close the company 4 times because I was rejected by so many investors. I
Yeah.
thought that's never going to work. But he already has a product, a digital product that people already use. And he was convinced that he cannot take the product from the people. It's already out there. People already use it.
So the mission is has to be something that is driving you and helping you overcome the struggles. And for you, I know your mission is bigger than you strongly I believe in your mission. So you're like, yeah, I have to do what it takes to get Naked Pak to everyone
Right.
that wants it.
Right. But I actually don't think that I think that it is easier when you have like this uh mission that is greater than yourself. Then it's easier to move forward, although there are challenges and struggles. I still think that people who want to have a great company so they can have a lot of money is a good cause. I still think that it doesn't matter. I spoke in another podcast and I said it and I truly believe in it. It's easier when the mission is greater than you because then you say it's
Yeah.
not me and my future, it's the world's future. And that's easier, at least for me. But I see people starting companies so they can have amazing exits and they can have a fantastic lifestyle and they can support other technologies and other initiatives that are nonprofit. And that's an amazing cause to continue on working. For me, it's not enough. If I wanted to make money, I wouldn't be able to go through these
I would
challenges.
say, I would argue and say that it's never going to be sustainable to just do it for the money. And even those who you think they're doing it for the money, they have something that motivates them. So it could be that the money will enable them to do other things that they want to do. But I believe there always has to be something that is keeping you going through the struggles. Otherwise, the money will not be a big enough motivator for you to continue, to do the grind, to get rejected and rejected and rejected. The money is not going to be enough.
That's interesting because I think that that there are drivers that evolve during the journey. So when you started, you thought you were doing it for one thing, and now there are a few other drivers. For example, people already know you and you don't want to fail.
Yeah,
You don't want to fail in front of everyone, especially after some success. You don't want to
yeah,
fail then. Um, and I'm sure people have amazing dreams of what they want to do afterwards or with the power of having a fantastic business. Um, yeah, I know that for me, the fact that the mission um, is very personal, but
yeah.
also like very global. this is what drives me. I mean, when I cook dinner and I create this pile of waste for just like 2 people dinner, I know that I have to work.
This is incredible. I mean, what you do. I mean, I can tell you, I have a family of 6. We're 6 people. Now my son is in the army, so we are 5 most of the times. And we recycle a ton. And you know how it is. It's a drag to take all the plastic and all the stuff you want to recycle, and you have to go outside of your house to find these huge bins. And it's more, we produce more recyclable waste than actual waste. This is terrible.
Right. And when you have a compost at home and the recycling bin for paper, plastic, glass, everything else, you barely have something else.
Yeah.
Right? It's also rather food or containers of food.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you have like this, I don't know, tape or something that you throw away that is not food or containers. So this is also why we chose that Naked Pak will be a food packaging, although it is very complicated. If we wanted to do a personal care, cosmetics, I don't know, home care, regulation is way easier because you don't consume it.
Yeah.
But the problem is with the food. Food is essential. Everything else is nice to have. We have to eat food. And this is why we think that also with AI and everything with technology that changes all the time, we still eat food, and food is still wrapped with plastic.
I agree with you, and I think that's a wonderful way to end our episode today. Yeah. It's like, yes, we need it because there's so much waste going on about packaging, and I really want to wish you success. And I want, when I publish the episode, to announce that you raised more money.
Thank you. Me too. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
It is twice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to the second episode with Naama. And before we close, I want to add a quick update. So we recorded this conversation in February, and a lot has moved at Naked Pak since then. Naama's R&D team is now complete. They hired a new VP R&D, Inon, which joined full-time, and 2 scientists joined part-time. Naama added 2 new advisors, Professors Yoav Livni from the Technion and Avi Belson, a US food supply chain expert. And to the biggest news, Naked Pak just received FDA compliance confirmation, which means no regulatory barriers to entering the US market. Their pilot machine has arrived, small-scale manufacturing has started, and they are gearing up to launch their first product in the US this fall, with pre-orders being secured right now. So if you're listening to this and thinking, I want one of those, go to Naked Pak website, and the pre-order list is the place to be. And I am so blessed to be part of her journey, and that makes me super excited to share that with you. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.